Hello, Severance. Okay, that's funny. I just made that up. This is Tap TV, and I'm your host, Natasha Brown. And Tap TV is celebrating 2 years anniversary. Absolutely amazing. We just really want to say that we love you. We appreciate you so much for engaging all our content, watching it all, sticking with us through the years. It's been an amazing journey with you, and we promise to bring you more diverse, entertaining, educative, and informative content. So you don't want to go anywhere because Tap TV is where it's at. All right, so I'll just go right into it. This is the Say It As It Is show, and as you know, I am your host, Natasha Brown, and I have some lovely co-anchors doing this with me today. And for the topic that we have today, it's absolutely amazing. You don't want to go anywhere. You want to sit back, relax, and watch while we have fun together. All right, so on today's episode, we have something really amazing that we want to talk about. Should I say almost like a pandemic? I'm not sure if I'm to use that word. But before we even get right into the topic, I know that you're waiting to know what it is. I'll just start with this quote by Monica Bellucci, an actress, really amazing, lovely woman. She said, "When people divorce, it's always such a tragedy. At the same time, if people stay together, it can be even worse." So I know that you get where I'm headed. Definitely. So the topic of discuss for today is divorce surge, right? Causes and its solutions. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And with me are my lovely co-anchors. Hello, hello, hello.
Good to be here again.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
William Zabule, you're the one that has been the reason that it's been a minute, and you know.
I don't know why she would blame
But
it
I'm
on
not
me.
going to drag you on the show. So we'll just get right into it. So
Yeah.
my lovely co-host,
Yeah.
William Sabule,
Always a
media
pleasure.
practitioner.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you so much. You're looking all dapper and
Yeah,
all
thank
nice.
you.
What's
Thank
going
you.
on?
Thank you. Well, I want to talk about divorce today, so I'm giving some ladies the reason for them to stay in their marriages. Stay.
And then my amiable traditionalist and woodworker, Victor Sioko.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're looking sharp as well.
Oh, really?
All the men on
Okay.
this table are like,
Okay, because I'm
I
minding my
want to give,
business.
I want to give the ladies. Yeah, I want to give the ladies some little reason for them to stay in their marriages and make it work.
right. And then we have our guest for today, Mr. Simeon Osazuwa. I got your surname right.
Right.
And then he's a personality developer. What does that mean, though?
I usually help people to find their path, no matter the situation they're into. There's always a way out. So when you come out better, and you're more productive with your potentials.
Wow,
You just
interesting.
want to harness people's potentials and make it what they ought to be.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
Nice.
interesting. And I'm sure that is so needed in Nigeria. Like, a lot of people have lost their way.
Sure.
We need help in
We
this
need
country. Okay, but let's just focus right back into the topic. Now, we know that it's a no-brainer that divorce is on the increase.
That's true.
If we check statistics from 2010, 2008, back from then till now, the difference is humongous. And then it got a surge just after COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Divorce rate increased all over the world.
Yeah.
It almost looked like COVID exposed couples to understand that, okay, we are not compatible, we cannot stay in the house together. So it makes us understand that sometimes the reason couples don't really know how deep their divide is because there's work to go to. So I'm working like 9 to 5, or I'm working round the clock, or like Victor Woodworker, so like he's going here and there, traveling and all of that. There's hardly that time to just sit down and be with your wife, right?
Yeah.
But before I start going into all of that, why do we think divorce is on the increase? Before I even get into statistics and all of that, why really do we think divorce is on the increase?
The interesting thing, as you said, that from 2020 up till now, there's so many divorce cases in Nigeria and all over the world. I think now people usually go into marriage with an alternative. There's already an alternative before going into the marriage. So if it doesn't work, we just find the other out. We use the other alternative path. So I think that's one of the reasons. Unlike before now, people go with their whole hearts, no matter what it takes. Like, let's go
For
to
better, for
yeah,
worse.
for better, for worse.
Ride or die.
But now people go for better or for better for best. So, you know,
we don't like negativity.
They just want to. So when people just see like a little what they can't tolerate to a large extent, they just move on. There's let's do a divorce, or let's I'm going to give you a letter of divorce so that you can sign it up. So people just believe that there's already alternative to this marriage thing. So so the value for the marriage system, the family unit is dropping drastically because people already design alternative for themselves. I just think that's one of the reasons why there's a sword right now, and this particular alternative is being pushed to the entire public. Because people that are, let me use the word icons, like celebrities and all those guys out there. So if they are doing this thing and they are trying to justify the reason why they are doing it, so people just say, this is a norm. So this alternative is the best path to take. So that's how they push the idea of divorce on people. And it's becoming so, as you said, a pandemic in quotes.
Yeah.
So they kind of like made divorce look like a lifestyle, like it looks presentable, like it's sweet to do. That you don't have to be in that marriage, so it's okay to break out. Well, I agree to some extent. It's okay to break out, but we've seen people break out for the flimsiest of reasons.
Yes.
You know, they don't want to put in any effort. I feel that marriage is a lot of work. I see it as a new job, like it's a job. So when you're getting into it, going with the mentality you just signed up for a new job, a new work role. And so what it means is that just as you put in everyday effort in your work, normal work, I've seen people giving 120% to their jobs.
Yeah.
They could die because of their job that is not their company. But when it comes to their marriage, that has to do with their life, and then how they can interpret their life within the next few years. You don't see them giving that much. So little things they are ready to leave. And it's very common these days because, like you rightly said, some of our icons, people that we have chosen as our mentors, that we've not even met before. Most of them exist on social media or in our heads. We see them divorced and then we're like, if she can do it, if he can do it, then I can do it. Because we've seen some of the biggest men of God also experience divorce. Yeah. But we don't know the root of how they got there. So I don't think that should be a green light for anybody to say, okay, I'm done with my marriage if it could happen to this man of God. He's a man of God. He's supposed to be upholding the Bible of the way God said it. If he could, get divorced, I want to do that. I don't think that's it for people. I believe people should really hold their marriages as everything. Yeah. Because to me, I see it as everything.
Victor?
Yeah, I think the issue here is that many persons out there do not, they go into marriage thinking that everything will go smooth. But after a while, you now be like, what am I going to gain in this marriage? Yeah. You start thinking, this guy is playing this game, I need to play this game. This lady is playing this game. So it now turns to maybe a business transaction. You guys are not playing chess yourselves.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
it's all again. Right. So I'll just go right into this. So I went through Forbes Advisor. It's one of the outfits of Forbes magazine, and then they write articles on varying topics. So I was just doing like a quick survey and looking through the whole divorce issue, and then this is mostly using US as a case study, but at the end of the day it can be generalized. So when I looked up top reasons for divorce, number one, actually, I was thinking it was going to be finances, but actually, number one with 76% rate, and the source for this is actually the National Library of Medicine. It says it's lack of commitment. Lack of commitment.
And that's so common these days.
Following is the one that everybody talks about. Infidelity or extramarital affair. And then you have too much conflict and arguing, getting married too young. Like financial problems is just that's number 5.
Yeah.
All of these things come up even before that.
Not among the top ranks.
I'm telling you. And then you have substance abuse, domestic violence, lack of support from family health problems. So we have all of those. Yeah. And they are rightly well itemized. And if I were to even go into the next page, funny thing, there are certain occupations that have the highest rate of divorce as well.
Of course.
Wow. Certain occupations.
Of course.
So now, they listed
You can't wait, man.
But the funny thing is, you would think entertainment will be top three, but no.
Wow.
Okay.
So the occupation here, as stated now, the source for this one is flowing data, right? So number one is a gaming manager. That takes about 52.9%.
Wow.
Number two is a bartender. Now, the reason for these first two with the highest rates is because of the time clock for their work.
Oh.
They are mostly working. So a bartender, you work mostly at night.
Yeah.
And if your husband or your wife works a 9 to 5, when they're going to work is when you're sleeping. So the time to actually be together is not really there. You know, and then flight attendants, obviously, you are afraid that something.
You're globetrotting.
You
While
know,
your
and
marriage
then
is in
gaming
shambles.
service workers, rolling machine setters, telemarketers. So you see all of this. You see all of this top 10, and you don't even see entertainment actors and actresses. So it makes us understand that sector is just only very loud. Well, there are other sectors that are really suffering, you know, from this. And then, you know, so for the ones with the lowest divorce rates, we have occupations like actuaries. Why would actuary be there? That's some intellectual stuff. Just like a mathematician. You know, so we have actuaries, we have physical scientists, medical scientists, clergy, like a pastor, software developers. So when you look at this one, you see highly intellectual people.
But don't you think it's because those guys have money?
No. Curiously.
Medical doctor, software engineer, pastors, especially in Nigeria.
But,
so don't you think these guys have money?
But if you bring it down to Nigeria, if you say because of money, I don't think people get divorced in Nigeria because of money, because our justice system doesn't really reward divorcees. Yeah, I don't think so. Where you say you want to divorce a man because he's rich, so you're going to get half of his money. I don't think our system, our justice system.
So what about a lady that is suffering in marriage because of money?
Okay, because the husband is not available.
Yes,
doesn't have the funds to take care of her. Maybe when
I'm suffering too much.
But the husband is stingy.
Or maybe when she entered, or before the marriage, the guy was spending, and when she entered into the marriage, the guy was not spending again.
Yeah, so it brings us to this, divorce is a very critical issue.
Yeah.
Because both people, like 3 of you are married, and we are just right in the heat of it to really talk about this. It's heated because everywhere around you that you turn, maybe not in your immediate circle, but you cannot deny that at least you have heard of 1, 2, or 3 people that you know that know someone or something that has gone through it.
That's true.
And it makes someone get scared. And funny enough, one of the predominant factors that predisposes you to actually being a divorce victim is when you have friends that are also divorcees. So it was shocking to see that in your circle of friends, if you have about 3 or so, statistically proven that are divorcees, you are likely to toe that part. Now that brings us to even stigmatization.
Of course.
You know, because I think husbands have that thing when they see their wives hanging with a particular woman that they are beginning to get worried.
No, but then you should be worried because friendship has a way of rubbing off on your people around you. So yes, so if they share certain ideology and say, okay, I can't take it. I can't take my husband talking to me carelessly every time. I think I'm done with that man. I'm leaving. It will somehow make you want to demand certain things that are not in line with because whether you like it or not, once you get into marriage, you begin to form a new kind of yoke that binds the both of you and your family entirely. It is always different from the next person around you. No matter how look-alike it may seem, it is not the same. So when you're trying to even settle issues in your marriage with the examples from your friend's marriage, you're already trying to rope yourself. So yes, when you begin to learn or begin to hear things from your friend because she believes that is what is right for her to leave her marriage, and then you're trying to bring those things to maybe you're even having similar issues with her already. It begins to make sense to you to leave your marriage. But for me, I believe that's pretty wrong, and you should run away from that. And husbands that are seeing that trying to really save their marriages by severing those kind of ties with such people, because every marriage is particular to their issues. and don't drag in another person's phone. So if the person doesn't have that endurance level to work out a marriage, because I said that we've had bosses that are evil. We've had bosses that were witches and wizards, but we stayed on the job.
Does that mean you should stay even when you're?
No, I feel that they are.
No, because you made a salient point.
Yeah.
People stay in dead end jobs because they have needs to meet.
Yeah,
So they stay there. They cost morning, afternoon, night. But as long as you're giving them their small 250K, they're okay. But is it healthy in the long run?
No, it's not healthy.
Is it healthy in the long run?
Yeah, but
so
then,
if we're going to liken that to our marriages, should it be that, okay, because I'm in here, let me just stay here?
you talked about lack of commitment though at the beginning.
Yes,
that's
that's
the number one.
Yeah.
So if you could give that commitment level to your job, can you give it, even if you don't give it 100%, can you give 80% of that your commitment level to your marriage?
What if the other person is giving just 40?
Yeah, or the person
What
not
if-
interested in.
Well, where is the place of hope? That things will change?
I think personally for me, divorce should be the last resort for any abusive relationship or whatsoever that is happening in your marriage, whether it's
When you say abusive,
Baba,
does it
you know what I mean, Baba
include
abuse.
domestic?
No, I mean
Like
Baba
beating?
abuse. No.
The Baba
Because that's how
abuse.
people die.
I mean Baba abuse, like when somebody talks to you, maybe the person
In a
tries to
demeaning way.
demeaning way, try to bring down your self-esteem, the person try to trample you, your personality and all that.
Right.
That should be the last resort. But nevertheless, as I said, it's not advisable to stay in a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
If the relationship is toxic and is making you becoming a shadow of yourself, so it's better for you to leave. Yeah, but there are stages to divorce. You can separate for some time for you to just get yourself and why you are handling the issue at hand. So if the man in question or the lady in question is able to be advised properly and the person accepts or takes the advice and begin to do better, I believe you can come back again and make the marriage work. But for flimsy reasons, like he talked to me the way I didn't like and he just jumped out of
Or
the
he
house.
asked me to make it back.
Yeah, I want to make it. So for such reasons, which are becoming very very obvious or rampant, if I should use that word, everywhere, that for little reasons they just tend to I'm leaving this house. Oh, I have my father's house. Oh, I have my own money. Oh, what do you take me for? I don't do this.
Right. So it brings us even to that aspect. It brings us to that aspect of this ideology of gender equality, feminism, and independence. Now, I really want to come to that point of independence because a lot of us in this generation, we have such an independent mindset. Like, even when we are married, we want to be independent. But is that feasible? That's the question we'll be answering just after this short break. And yeah, do stay with us.
Hey there! Are you looking to record your videos, do your voiceovers, and take your professional pictures? Look no further. With our state-of-the-art newsroom, photography, kitchen for our food content creators, and exclusive children's studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Tharv Media give life to your dreams. Tharv Media, a slice of infotainment.
Welcome back. All right, so before we went on the short break, we were talking about this whole independence rhetoric, independence mentality that we have, that even while I'm married, I'm independent. I want to do the way that I want to do. I want to live the way that I want to live. And so if I was partying till like 11 p.m., 1 a.m., 4 a.m., hello, you know that's how I am. So what do we actually think about that thought of independence and marriage? Can you actually be independent
In marriage.
as a married person? Or how can you rightly manage your independence in a healthy way, if there's anything like that, in a way that is not going to mess up your marriage? So let's just, have that free flow conversation.
This is a very, very interesting conversation, and it's going to be a lengthy one. But the truth is that I will just make it very short. The truth is that if you are going to marry, then you need to let go of your independence. No matter how it might sound to some persons, but that's just the truth. Because not your independence completely, but your partner have to agree to the level of independence that you are going to enjoy, you are going to have. Let me use that word. You know, it's the word enjoy. But I would think you are in a cage or a prison.
Yeah.
But that's the truth. So you just have to accept the fact. Just that this generation now, they don't want that level of
that
commitment.
control or
Yeah.
commitment
They don't want anybody to
or
control them.
accountability.
Thank you, accountability.
More like
They
it.
don't want to. They just believe that the reason why we are getting married is for so and so. They already outlined the reasons. So every other one is my personal life. So this is my personal life. I bring you into the marriage and continue that personal life and also be the one that.
And you know, funny thing, yeah, Simeon. Funny thing that happened in my home sometime. So my mom wore a dress, or no, she wore a skirt and a top. She was about to go to work that Monday morning, and she asked me, and she said, "Oh, is this skirt okay for me to wear? Is it short?" Now my mom is not particularly tall, right? What can be short on her? I'm like, no, the skirt is nice, it's given.
Yeah.
My mom goes to my dad and she asked him, because I think she was feeling a type of way. So she asked him, this skirt, can I wear it? He said, no, you can't wear it, it's short. Hello? My head went bam, bam, bam. My mother went to the room, changed that skirt. And was something else. I went to work. I'm just looking at her like, mother, in my own home, I don't know. I'll be like, hello, honey, excuse me.
Yeah.
But it makes us see, you know, where our heads are hurt as young people. We're like, oh my God, no, why? I don't know this. But there was that thing where she gave preference to the husband she was married to. Are you okay with the way that I look?
Yeah.
Because you are not his and it's not yours.
Yeah.
Right.
So you just have to do what suits both of you.
Sure.
Right.
It's very, very key.
It's not all about
it's
you.
not all about you this time around. It's not about you again.
Yeah.
It's true that you have dropped a level of personal ideologies and so many things that you hold on to before getting to marriage. As you get into marriage, it's not a shared ideology. If there's no shared ideology, there's going to be problems. So that's why you see so many people finally leads to divorce. Because that level of independence you are looking for as you get into marriage, you need to know that you will not get that same level again when you were single. So if you just want to enjoy that same level, then you just have to remain single.
Right. Well, Victor, so I'll just ask you this. So what are those particular things that we are neglecting while in a relationship before we actually get married?
Yeah.
Well, what are those key things? I mean, you're married.
I think for most women, they think that it's a party. I'm going to wedding, marriage is a party, forgetting that they need to be submissive. And it is the bedrock of all these issues that we are having. Okay? And when women forget that men needs to be happy too. Men needs to be happy.
That's the salient point.
I know
That's the salient point.
Is it not food that makes you people happy?
No. We give you submission. My house needs to be in order.
Yeah.
You cannot have two kings in my house.
Right.
You need to be submissive.
That's true.
You are a wife. Okay? Yes, I understand laws and trying to be live the Western life and all that. But for Africans,
Equality and
you need to be submissive. And when men see that you're not submissive, you're not giving them that respect. Come on.
Yeah.
But in order to be submitted to, you have to be a respectable man.
Oh, sure.
You have to be able to carry well your air of authority.
Yes.
I think that a lot
Command
of
respect.
I think that the reason why a lot of women, or a number of women, let me not say a lot, a number of women are quite seen as rebellious and not submissive, is because the man has an unhealthy way of wielding his authority. There's an unhealthy way of wielding your authority, and there's a healthy way of doing that. It's just like what is happening in Niger Republic. Maybe there's a coup somewhere.
Yeah.
You just come and, so there is that, and let's not forget that. So if the man is not of a respect, for example, let's say a case in point where, I don't know if we saw that video online on Twitter. There was a video that came up. I think it was a skit, but it was an intentional skit so that people could understand what was going on in homes. This guy had just married this lady. She had put to bed, so they had two kids. She had a smaller one. She was tying the kid. You know how we do it in Africa, you tie your kid on the back. And she was cooking. He works Monday through to Friday. Weekends are just his off days where he can just rest, especially Sundays. So that day, he was just resting, watching his football and all that, and she was cooking. So she called him and she said to him, please come and carry the baby from me rock the baby, put her to sleep while I'm sorting the kitchen out. It was like, I don't understand. Is that my job? Why are you doing that? This is my resting time. I'm not supposed to be doing any of the work. You know that I go to work. So he started itemizing. I go to work Monday to Friday. I bring in the money. What do you do? Yours is to stay back at home with the kids. So today that I'm back at home, let me rest. And the woman flips. She 0 to 1,000.
Yeah.
And she goes, how dare you? I only asked you to help me with the baby. I am cooking, I'm carrying the baby, I'm going to clean, I'm going to do this. She apparently is a stay-at-home mom because she wasn't working. From the video that we watched, she wasn't working. He was the one bringing in the money. And then she flipped and she warned him, never you say that again. And then the guy goes like, you know when men are beginning to get scared, the man goes like, all these things I said, see the way they're shouting. And she was like, no, men should not do that.
Yeah.
I've given you children. My body is a mess. I'm cooking and cleaning. You don't appreciate me enough, and you still expect me that after I've done all this work and taking care of your kids, maybe at 11 p.m. you'll call me to the room. So there's all of that dynamic going on, and it makes us see that actually, for you to have a submissive wife, you need to pull your weight as a husband. So it brings us to this other part of toxic masculinity and the home. Is there such a thing as that? Some guys, a lot of guys don't think that there's anything with toxic masculinity. Is there a bully?
Yes, there is. There's such a thing as toxic masculinity because I've seen men, some of us are also guilty on this table, not deliberately though.
On this table, I like that.
Well, Victor and Simon can say they're not on this matter, but I could cite examples that they would admit to have been. It's not a deliberate thing most of the time, where we didn't marry slaves as wives, right?
Oh, thank you very much.
We first loved them. And then we wanted to keep that happy feeling of having them in our lives, and then starting a family with these women, and that's how they came in. And then we went ahead also from that point to try to make them part of us, because just like the Bible said, I'm referring to the Bible because as far as I'm concerned, it's the best manual in life for humans. And it has helped a lot of humans that have chosen to follow the path of that book to be the best. You can verify this with
scriptures.
With most people that have decided to follow some of the principles in the Bible, they've turned out to be the best people on earth. So I'm saying that if you can follow that manual of making someone else as part of you, two becoming one, if you can see your wife as you and you as your wife, most of these things will not be happening. That's why I said most of the time it's not deliberate, but you find out that because of work pressure, life will happen to you every day, every now.
Especially this Nigerian stress.
And then you're home and your wife is telling you that, it has happened to me recently where I'd worked all day, I was pretty tired. You know, in my head, I was driving home to get a good meal and just have some rest. And I go to my wife too works. My wife also works. And then she's in the kitchen and she's calling me, baby, can you help me pound some pepper? And I'm like, how dare you say that to me? Yeah, I was angry at first. I was thinking, like, I've had a very busy day. I forgot that she had a busy day.
Right.
You know, for a moment, I thought, why would she tell me to help her in the kitchen when I need to just be in the sitting room, press my phone until that food is ready, and let me eat and go and sleep? And so I flipped up, and then a moment later, I was like, wow, that was really wrong. And then I went to the kitchen without saying sorry. I started pounding pepper.
That was your sorry.
Started pounding pepper with this face of, don't send me again. But then if you look at it very critically, you will notice, you will know that it was only right, because I don't have a housemaid. It's only right for you to support. I mean, the two of you are one.
That is so interesting.
Yeah, so that's why I said most of us are on this table, because for me to have reacted in that way, that was toxic. I shouldn't have. In the first place, I should have thought the fact that she also goes to work. And for her to go to work, it means that I don't have all the millions in the world to afford maybe housemaids to give her the princess kind of treatment that she deserves as a wife. Because every wife needs to be pampered.
Hello.
You know, trophy. Trophies, you know. So, but then if you don't have all that luxury to bring in maids, or to keep your mother-in-law in your house to assist, because once you have a mother-in-law or some family member living with you, you have to afford, taking care of them. So if you're not doing that and it's just the both of you and have a baby there or something else that you need to be responsible for, I just feel that it is just common sense to lower your ego and do some of the things without having to be toxic in the marriage. It helps to foster, because every time I quarrel with my wife, I feel bad.
Right.
Like the house becomes very, I don't know how to describe it. Like I always look for the easiest way to apologize and let's move on. But of course, when you don't go like.
But why is it hard for
Take the
men
heat.
to say I'm sorry? Why? You guys now use actions. Why can't you just open your mouth and say, honey, I am sorry. I messed up.
Okay.
But let's not also forget that aside divorce, that we have more separations. So divorce is more like, it's even a difficult thing in Nigeria because there are a whole lot of processes you need to go before.
Yeah.
Like in Nigeria, you have to be at least married for 2 years.
Yeah. The cost will not
And even
divorce you
before
6
you
months
are
later.
right, so it's
So
a
I
lot
have
of
this
work.
friend, it is well with them. I have this friend that after a while, just short while, within a year, thereabout, it went bad.
Sad. Oh my
That
God.
was it. In fact, and let's not forget the fact that, oh man, the processes can be crazy.
Yeah.
That even the woman was like, you guy, you will not get these papers. Okay? Because if you are staying outside the shores of this country, for you to marry another person, you must
Be
tender,
divorced.
you must
Legally.
tender your documents. Okay? But in Nigeria, a man can just
Decide to go and
Just
marry,
be-
and marry again.
Just go somewhere.
Oh my God.
So let's also being toxic in relationship or marriage. I've made some friends. They are in that house. They are separated.
Yeah.
They are living
You're
together.
right, you're right.
They are separated. What they are just waiting for is let people now know that we are done.
We are
Or one person decides to
You're right,
short
right.
travel to another
Or one
land.
person will just very early in the morning. The person will just zoom out. Like
You're right.
So
it happens.
if it's okay, I want to ask, do you happen to know what the crux of the matter is? That just 1 year in marriage, they're already calling it quits. Do you happen to be
pride.
from the
In
man?
this particular case, I
Right.
think it was about pride.
But then there's a lot more.
The man-
No, I'd like to really hear
Yeah,
that.
like we talked about submission and submission.
Yes.
Yeah.
My brother, there are still levels to this.
Yeah.
You
right.
can't be as a man. Yes, you are a man, and so then what?
Okay.
That you don't know that this person you are living with is a human being.
That's what the problem is.
It's a human being. So there are levels to this.
Yeah.
And some men can just take it overboard and it's just so sad.
And that's another thing we should worry about foundational backgrounds. Like, what did you learn from your
Where
father?
do you come
Where are
from?
you
Your
coming from?
background.
So while dating, we need to really understand the personality we are with and what is involved, because that when you marry these persons, I don't think they really change from who they are. So what are you looking at? What are you hoping to deal with? I need people, especially single. If you're still single at this time, maybe you're lucky to hear this. Please check out the men and women you're with. I have
Especially their background.
yeah, you need to check out what their beliefs are, their belief system. It will really speak a lot in marriage, because people, like what I've learned over the years from my background, hasn't changed so much. I'm just hoping that my wife adjusts to it, and I also adjust to her values. So I have a friend that his marriage crashed recently, just barely 6 months into marriage, and it's over. Just because he didn't pay attention, or he probably saw some of the things, but didn't think that it was going to really play a major role in his marriage. So he was dating a girl that believed in what on this side of the southeast and south side they call is a wine. So she worships the gods. So a lot of people will be like, does that kind of thing still exist? Yes, there are people that believe that there's no God. So it's the wooden tree in their village, that tree, that is their God. That's where they get answers from. And so you're dating a very pretty girl from the east here, a very fine girl. And then she wakes up in the morning while you're about to pray. She tells you she needs to talk to the gods, that nature is what she is driven to. You need to watch it. What are your beliefs? Is it the same? Does it align with what she's calling? And then you marry her, you're thinking that when I marry her in my church, she'll become a church member of mine, and so she will fall in line. And then in a marriage, she doesn't fall in line. And then there are certain things that she does not adhere to. And then you say she's not submissive, Mr. Victor. Let me use your language. She says she's not submissive. What were you looking out for? That's why I said there should be deal breakers in relationships, but in marriage, there might not necessarily be deal breakers. So if you are even going in there with deal breakers, so you already set yourself up for a divorce before you started the journey. So in relationship, you have deal breakers, like if she's an Eze wine, I don't think I can marry her. Oh, she's pretty, I love her. But you need to also think about the fact that once you get married, there could be children involved, and their future will matter when you finally break up because you cannot withstand this man or woman. So all of those things you need to consider. So if you truly want to really start a new life, and like I said at the beginning, a new job, a new career path that you're so committed and interested in, you need to set out all these things. Like it's like searching for a new job. Before you go out searching for this, seeking for a new job, you outline certain things that you want to see that is different from the one that you just left. It's the same thing. So you just left a very toxic relationship. You're about to start off a new one. You outline things and say, okay, so Mara used to slap me. I don't want a girl that will slap me anymore. Mara used to worship his and wine. I don't want that kind of thing. It was weird that she wakes up in the morning and is talking to the ceiling fan. I don't enjoy it.
It is so interesting.
Yeah,
to know
so
that.
you need to do all of that before you jump into marriage. So some people don't take note of these details, and they're in there, and then when these things begin to happen, they tell you stuff like, I don't recognize my husband. I don't know him anymore. In 1 year, in less than 1 year, they tell you stuff like, really? Because the reality hits you when you're finally in the marriage within that first 1 year of getting to know. Because, please, I want to try to use this strong term. Most people are strangers and you don't know until you're in marriage.
Right.
So you need to really know your partner before you jump into marriage with them, and because it will help you to understand the kind of commitment level you're going to put in. Because if you could really recognize some of these things, you'll be able to say, okay, I'm ready to commit to this thing. I'm ready to commit to this personality no matter what. So yeah.
Interesting take right there. I mean, absolutely very informative. So it brings us to the other segment of this show for today. In other news, so recently we had the alleged divorce between an actress. I don't know if you know her, but she's an a Spanish actress, so to speak. No, Colombian actress, so to speak. Sofia Vergara and her longtime husband, Joe Manganiello. Theirs is primarily because of childbearing. She's not yet ready to have a child. He wants to have a child. They've been married for I think close to 8 years or thereabout. Wow. And they're perfect together. And then another thing that is also inspiring the whole divorce is he is sober. He's following a sobriety journey where he's no more taking alcohol, but she's still taking alcohol. So how can you still be sober and then your partner still has wine and whiskey around the house? So a lot of clash, and it's just really unfortunate that that's happening. Bringing it to Nigeria, the actress Ireti Doyle and her longtime husband, over 20 years, Patrick Doyle.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
When that happened? Wow.
They got a divorce.
I know he's a pastor.
Yes.
Yeah, but he's still acting. He's still an actor. But I think the crux of their matter was primarily because he became lax in the home.
Okay.
Almost like you absolved yourself of the manship role, and then it made your wife do a lot of the hard work to keep the face of the home together. That's what her write-up seemed like. She didn't give intricate details what happened, but that was what it seemed like. Apart from that, we also have clergymen who are supposedly meant to be our role models. We have Papa Ayorisa Jaffa and his wife, and the drama was a lot. There was infidelity, infertility, and all of that going on. So we see all of these dynamics, and let's not forget that, like you rightly said at the beginning of the show, influence. So an icon that I respect has gone through divorce. It's oh my God, if this could happen, Pastor Chris Oyakilome. I am sure a lot of people said to themselves, okay, there's no hope, but so it brings us to this question: what role do we actually give to people in such a limited way so that it does not necessarily affect our own view. How can we rightly manage this whole "you're my icon, mentor, so I look up to you" type of thing? You know, so how can we rightly manage that and not let it color our lenses so that we can still be able to make independent choices and decisions?
That's a very interesting one. Well, that's quite very difficult to determine for people. But you just have to give them like a generalized guide. What I usually tell people that, as Abule said, that every marriage is unique. So you should not use someone else's marriage to
define yours
or what to expect completely in yours. You might see a perfect marriage from outside, but you don't know the work they are putting inside. So when you get inside your marriage, it's very important that you are also willing to put that work. But you can also pick those good virtues or good stuff from theirs and add to the ones you have in yours. But never esteem any marriage that's far way higher than yours. I have some friends of mine that you might see them from outside when they're in church. I should use that place, but they're in church. They are looking as perfect couple. But when you get to stay with them in the house, see that they also have their personal challenges. I can see some that maybe they are riding cars, they are laughing, going for vacation, but you know, there are some of them are heavy on debts. So you're thinking that these guys are just balling, or
and then you're stressing your husband. Why can't we travel to Seychelles? Your friend is doing it.
So true. Very true. So not knowing that they are just living on debts, and when the reality comes to the light, then you start saying, wow, if I knew, I would have not done this. So that people need to reduce their expectation when it comes to human beings. It's very important. You need to reduce their expectations. Pick those good things from them, but don't over-expect from them, so that you'll be able to maintain the sanity or a coordinated mind when anything happens negatively with them or something that people do not expect from them happens, because everybody are human beings and you can actually determine the expression of a human being in the long run.
That is so interesting. I like that. It's so insightful and profound. I like that. It's interesting what you've said. Thank you so much for that. So let's just go right into the question of the day. So there are two questions of the day, right? Question number one is, should there be deal breakers set pre-marriage? So while we are dating, I tell you, hello, these are my deal breakers if you try me, right? Or does it predispose us already to say, okay, so everybody starts tiptoeing around and starts pretending.
I like that other part.
The number two question is, what is that one irredeemable deal breaker that will make you consider divorce? Now, this is for three of you. You have to answer honestly, because you've been married for how many years?
6 years.
7 years.
Ooh.
Mine will be 3 by December.
All right. So within the same, years, so to speak. So that second one you will answer later. But for now, should there be deal breakers set pre-marriage? Let's go, Victor.
Yes. Why
and
not?
If you did, you can also say.
Deal breakers for me. Okay, just imagine we are out and a guy, maybe a bus conductor, bullies me.
Right.
And my girlfriend or fiancé now slaps the that means when my turn comes,
they will give you.
They will give it to me.
But is she not protecting you? Is she not protecting you?
Physical. One day you will go physical on me. So that's it.
I don't understand.
So Victor is
Right,
scared
that's
of
true.
being beaten up.
but that's a strong point for me
okay.
too. Somebody that can actually just, wait till they worry you, they mad, I can do my this and that and go physical on the person. No, if that's the lady's first reaction when it comes to a situation, you should watch out for that lady. You know that lady, when you get into your house, forget that she will defend you inside your house.
Oh my God.
All right, but for me, I'd say that, I said, you said pre-marriage. Yeah. So it's suitable to say you have deal breakers before the marriage. If you cannot actually identify any of your points before the marriage, then that means you've got a almost perfect woman. But for me,
or man.
Yeah, or man. Yeah. So before marriage, for me, deal breaker would have been Did I even have any? I'm that kind of person that try to keep my mind very open to people because people are highly unpredictable. So when you tell them your deal breakers, they pretend. They hide it from
That
you.
brings us to
the
the
day
other
that
part,
she was supposed to slap the waiter, she will not slap him.
Because
She-
he already
in
said.
her heart, she slapped
Can
him.
I ask you, what about a lady that is a jerk that
Hiding
takes
it.
substances?
Oh yeah,
Can you deal with that?
I don't think I could have. I'm not that kind of person. Best I can do is a bottle of beer or two, and I'm fine. So if I meet a woman that is a total drunk, yes. But in the first place, I will not even toast you. I know
No,
go see
no,
you.
no. You know, so now we are saying,
So,
remember,
okay, they hide it.
yeah, no, remember, we're saying deal breakers pre-marriage. So
Yeah.
I've not yet said I do to you, but we're
Yeah.
talking. So now, that's
And
why I
then I
said
found out.
it's a two-way question.
then I found
The other
out.
part is, so I've already told you, okay, so substance
what
abuse,
these are,
okay, so
That
all
I-
I have
that
to
I-
do is hide this part of me.
Because I like the guy. Or
Oh!
I like the girl.
And because I want to get that ring on my finger.
Yes.
And then when I get that ring and we are in the marriage, I can do the lines in front of you. What are you going to do about it? You
That's
know?
the reason why I told you some persons before marriage they play games like
Yeah.
it's a chess game.
Right,
Okay, I show you this, but I have this one that is hiding. When you now give me the ring, I stumble.
But for me,
But is anybody 100% honest?
no.
Is any
I
human
don't
being
think
100%
so.
honest?
No, I don't agree.
I don't
know
I
if there are
don't-
any
I don't-
persons
I
like
don't
that.
think-
If you're out
I
there,
won't say I don't know, but I don't think because
Most
the truth
couples
is that
are
you can't
honest to
actually
themselves.
just tell what the other person thinks or is going to do, but you can actually to a larger extent predict, but you cannot completely tell because you might not know at that moment what influences their behavior, influences their action. So you cannot say, oh, this is what this person will do at this time, because you can never, when it comes to humans, you can never tell. You can only predict to a large extent that, oh, I know my wife, or I know my husband is not going to do this.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, when situation comes, the person should be able to, the person should be truthful to you enough to tell you that, oh, I did this actually.
So what percentage of honesty can we realistically deal with?
That's
From 1 to 100? No, you can say your preference,
Okay.
right? But what can you realistically deal with in terms of honesty with your spouse?
oh, okay, that's fine. But I've not said my deal breaker.
No, I'll get there.
Okay, for me, I personally, I usually give allowance to people. That's why I also give allowance to my spouse. So
It's important.
I'm not actually, I don't expect too much, like that this person is a perfect person, and I expect too much from the person. So I've already created that allowance for you to flaw. That's for you to just make a flaw at that moment. So if you do anything that is wrong, that's me personally. People might find it difficult to believe, but that's just me. So and some people might say, I don't really love her or this, but that's just me.
That's
I
how
create
you are.
that's the way I wired my mind, or I've trained my mind that if you do something wrong, there's already an allowance for you to do that thing wrong.
Right.
So I'm not expecting too much for you. So right now I can't give a particular percentage of what
Right.
to expect from you.
Interesting, Victor. Is there any percentage that you could?
Personally, okay, I can keep it just about 70. Let me keep it at 70. But the issue now is not just about me. Okay, because if you think you want to play games or you want to be a dishonest wife or person, my issue there is about the kids. Are you going to transfer this dishonesty to them? For me as a man, like you say, I'm ready for anything. Yeah. Okay, somehow by God's way, I've been trained tough. So if you're bringing that dishonest, now you are fooling yourself. But what about the kids? Are we going to raise thieves? Are we going to raise liars and 419ers?
Yeah, that's why I said that once you're getting into marriage, it's no longer a child's play.
Yeah.
If you were a child before that time, this is what we call real adulthood.
Child-oriented.
So you need to drop all childishness, including dishonesty. If there's one person in the entire world that you should be 100% honest to, it should be your partner.
Yeah.
Because now, like I said earlier, it's two becoming one. It's more like lying to your partner is like lying to yourself. It's you on the other end. It's like your image in the mirror, and you're lying to it. I mean, how possibly can you succeed in that game? So I feel that whatever secrets that you dragged into the marriage, at some point, at the level of maturity that you think your partner has grown to, you should tell that partner. Now, keeping secrets until partners find out, that could lead to actually divorce too. So I believe that, okay, yes, at relationship level, because you love enough, probably have a child out there and you don't want the partner to find out, so you dragged it into the marriage. But if you really can tell, if you're dealing with, some people,
Why should you drag a child that you have out?
Because some people's deal breaker is dishonesty.
Then you should. How can you? If you have a child outside,
You should say it.
You should also say it before.
And then you're looking at the man's mother.
You know your partner's weakness.
Yeah.
You know that his mom, he has told you, if his mom finds out that you have, so you now have this niece that says auntie or uncle, but you are not. So that brings me to just this little deviation of a question. Yeah. Can there be healthy dishonesty and unhealthy dishonesty? Because you understand the strength and the weakness of your partner's character. There are some things that you might intentionally keep. Because you understand that if I let him or her know at this point in time, this is what will be the result. So, but if I leave it to, because I've been with you for a time, but if I leave it to this certain time and I tell you the is it repercussion or consequence or reaction will not be as brutal.
But what if you leave it and someone else tells him or her?
There is that angle.
So that becomes more disastrous.
That's
that
terrible.
angle.
So it's better to face the devil or face the music.
Square
on.
I think honesty has a key role to play,
especially when it comes to having a child. That's very, very important.
Or having infertility issues.
A
lot of men do that.
A lot of men hide that.
Or when you are AS and you are telling
because you love the girl or you love the guy, you just like.
I had a case like that. A case like that. So the guy was AS, and the girl knew she was AS. So before marriage, he refused to reveal that information, and they got married. Even after their first child, even when they noticed that, the first child was okay, the second one now had issues, and she kept asking him, young man, is there a problem here? And he kept denying. He said, "What? You're the only one that hasn't declared your genotype. What's going on?" He kept denying, but their baby was in crisis until the doctors told them that your child is SS. And then, do you believe that even when she left the marriage, like she separated from him, he refused to tell the truth.
The guy?
He refused.
That's chronic dishonesty.
For
me, it's chronic.
And she left that marriage out of resentment for him. It was like, did you plan to kill our seeds? What was your plan?
And this brings me to, I'm really grateful that I've met quite a number of honest men in my life. Recently, I know that I met one, and then we had this conversation, and then he was talking about marriage and all of that. And then he categorically told me he's not going to lie to me. He's got sexual reproductive issues, meaning he has low sperm count issues, and his libido is low. So for him to be able to be amazing, doctors have told him what he's supposed to do, cut down on alcohol, smoking, lose some weight, but it's still a problem and process. So is this something, I want you to know this.
Can you handle it?
Wow.
Can you handle
He's a good man.
I'm like, oh my God, look at you. Thank you so much for being honest. Now I can run nicely.
So you run.
You see the problem?
Oh yeah. So just imagine.
When they not tell you the truth, you run
No, but then if he loved her so much and he didn't want to lose her, it wouldn't have. But he saved himself and also saving her.
That's the truth.
Because if she had entered and found out in marriage
and started cheating, women have started again.
And then you hold his driver to walk, that you are going to be doing the work. Then you will say, hey, how can you bring me this low?
Okay. Let's go to this very important question that I said I was going to ask three of you. Yeah. What is that one irredeemable deal breaker that will make you consider a divorce?
Wow.
Okay, for me, I think is when my life is being threatened. Yeah. When I know that.
Don't just kill Victor. Victor loves this in life. Don't kill him.
Yes,
I think I second that's my deal breaker.
Okay. If you like, I know some person
that's like, anyway, that's my
wife should not
cheat.
Like
I just remember now, that's my deal breaker.
If you like, Go and sleep with 100 men, though.
Yeah.
But please don't kill me.
You
Very,
know,
very important.
that's just it. I think you were just spot on.
Yeah, spot on.
Because,
I think that's what was meant.
I mean, look at it. So I didn't go into marriage with the mindset of there should be a deal breaker. So I went in there telling myself that I'm 110% committed.
all in.
Yes, that I'm going to do everything to make it work. But of course, if you don't get life, you know, if you make it work. So yeah, that's spot on. If you don't have a wife that is extremely violent or that is a threat to life, then I think there shouldn't be anything. Even the Bible says that that's one of the very reasons.
No, just the Bible only said unfaithful.
Yeah.
He said
Only
unfaithfulness,
Yeah.
infidelity.
The Bible did not even recognize DV, just
So
unfaithful.
death,
Yes,
death. But we are adding.
Infidelity.
If you
We are
don't die,
adding, we
if
are
you don't
adding
die,
now.
if you don't die now, all these other parts will not be able to.
So three of you've said your irredeemable deal breaker is just don't kill.
Threat to life.
Threat
Good.
to my life.
So now,
Threat to my
but
life.
it's okay
my
if
mental health.
All right. Okay, guys, if you don't mad, no marriage again. All right.
Oh my God, that is so interesting. That is so interesting to note. I wish we could keep having this conversation. For me, I really
Sorry,
do.
can I ask, what about you?
Oh, okay, what's my deal breaker?
Well, she's still thinking that, so let her keep her
No,
own.
but pre-marriage,
No,
pre-marriage,
let's hear it.
pre-marriage. What's my deal breaker? Okay, I think don't be disrespectful to me. I can't stand it. In your words, in your actions, I can't stand. I will leave you.
Okay.
Don't.
Okay.
Make some
I mean,
sense.
recently I'm talking to someone and then he's acting funny. One day I literally said to him, "You know what? I'm tired. I'm literally tired.
I'm sure he didn't
I
believe
don't
it.
like stress. I'm literally tired." And then a friend of me said, "Natasha, you're not ready. You need patience."
But then again,
You
I
need
want
patience.
to ask, when you say disrespectful, there are many things that are not disrespect, but it could be interpreted as disrespect. So what are your, terms of disrespect?
Now, well, that is Holy Grail, and that information is for the one that is in the space.
All right,
But yeah,
so-
definitely disrespect. But I
Okay,
love
yeah.
this conversation so much. Thank you so much for
Thank you
being
very
so
much.
honest with this conversation. And I'm
Thank
sure
you.
that you've loved it and you've learned one or two things. What are your deal breakers? Let's know. And then if you have none as well, let us know. So, wrapping it up, quote of the day, it's by a writer, Jennifer Weiner, and she says, "Divorce isn't such a tragedy. A tragedy is staying in an unhappy marriage, teaching your children the wrong things about love. Nobody ever died of divorce."
Absolutely.
So if you're a divorcee,
Thank you.
it's all
Thank
right.
you, Jennifer.
It's all right.
true,
If you are, I mean, at the end of the day, but let's just know that you need to be happy. But even happiness is relative.
Yeah.
And then, of course, please do everything to make your marriage work.
And sometimes you being unhappy is not necessarily that you're in a bad marriage.
Yeah.
It could be a lot of things just happening that might be temporal.
Yeah.
So then, because of temporal issues, we now start making
you know,
permanent
that's right, yeah.
decisions.
And does it also tell a story of people that have divorced and are regretful? There are a lot of people that are divorced today that are regretful.
Because
like
looking back,
they
right.
wish they did
I
something
wish I
different.
never- I wish I never-
never-
But most of those marriages are completely irredeemable. So please do everything to make your marriage work. Be a bit
Yeah.
more patient before you make that decision.
men be amazing, women stay lovely,
Oh, thank
and
you.
as submissive as you can. Hopefully the man has a head
But don't die
for
in marriage.
authority.
Don't die in marriage. Don't die
Please no
there.
DV.
Don't
All
die,
right,
don't
sir. Thank you so much.
This is
If we
marriage.
don't shut it down now, we will keep talking. This
Thank
is
you.
Staff TV. Say it as it is show, and bye for now. Thank you.
Thank you.